When you're leaned over at 60 miles per hour, and your knee is scraping the asphalt, what are you actually doing? Are you fighting the bike? Or are you moving with the same fluid dynamics as the river that carved that valley? Most people think riding is about control, grip, force, dominance. But the expert rider? They're not forcing a shape onto the world. They're receiving the geometry that's already there. And here's the insane part, we figured this out in just a few generations. From Daimler's first bike in 1885 to MotoGP today. How? It wasn't muscle. It was the nervous system. Let me show you. Consider the timeline. The modern motorcycle was born in the late 19th century, with Daimler's Reitwagen in 1885 and Hildebrand and Wolfmüller's production bikes soon after, unleashing a raw mechanical revolution. Almost immediately, humanity sought to test these machines at their absolute limits. The birth of the Isle of Man TT in 1907 established the ultimate crucible of road racing, while the formal establishment of the Grand Prix World Championship, now MotoGP, in 1949 turned high-speed survival into a global science. Yet, the true marvel isn't just that we built faster engines or deadlier machines, it is how quickly our nervous systems evolved to bridge the gap between human biology and mechanical velocity, turning raw power into a fluid dance of survival and grace. Today, that initial spark of mechanical ingenuity has multiplied into a staggering global phenomenon, with over 700 million motorcycles and scooters currently in operation worldwide. What began as an experimental novelty is now the primary lifeblood of daily transit for billions. In fast-paced developing economies across Asia and Latin America, led by powerhouses like India, Indonesia, and China, where hundreds of millions of two-wheelers navigate dense urban grids. Motorcycles represent far more than recreation, they are the essential pulse of everyday commerce, commuting, and survival. From chaotic city streets to winding mountain passes, a massive fraction of the human population relies on this intimate connection between human reflex and machine, turning two wheels into the most ubiquitous rhythm on Earth. And God, what it feels like to carve up those corners when you're locked onto a motorbike, pulling in the mechanical bite of the clutch, clicking down through the gears as you bleed off speed, and rolling hard back onto the throttle right at the kissing point of the apex. That sharp, clean surge of speed and raw adrenaline hits like a reset button, clearing out the static of existence until nothing else matters. In that rush, the machine becomes a moving sanctuary, proving that the ride itself is the ultimate therapy. So how did we become so expert at doing it in just a few decades?
The illusion of control.
We are taught that mastery is about force. In the city, in the gym, on the job, we are told to push. We are told to dominate the task. If you want to ride a motorcycle, you are told to control the machine. You are told to steer, to grip, to brake. But look at your own body. Look at your own mind. When you are screaming at your own thoughts, when the internal noise is at maximum volume, are you actually in control? Or are you just fighting a system that you don't understand? I used to think that doing was the only way to be. I thought the signal of my own life was something I had to broadcast loudly to be heard. But the truth is, the most powerful things in nature don't shout. They don't have to. They are too busy flowing. We spend our lives trying to build a personality, a career, a skill set. We think we are creating our own path, but we are often just creating more static. We are drowning out the very signal that could guide us through the curves.
The wisdom of the river.
Look at a mountain. It looks permanent, unyielding, absolute. But look closer at the canyons that slice through it. Look at the way a river carves its path. A river does not fight the mountain. It doesn't throw itself against the granite in a panic. It is the ultimate practitioner of patience. It aligns itself with the path of least resistance. Over millions of years, the river doesn't conquer the mountain, it coexists with it until the mountain has no choice but to give way to the flow. That is the geometry of nature. The road you ride on today, it didn't just appear there because a developer wanted it to. A road is almost always a testament to the river that came before it. Roads follow the contours of the earth, the paths carved by water centuries before we even had engines. When you ride, you are not just on asphalt. You are on an ancient geological script.
The apex and the alignment.
When you hit the apex of a corner, what are you doing? Are you fighting the bike? If you are, you're hitting the noise floor. You're shaking, you're rigid, you're creating friction. You are the screaming mind. You are trying to force a shape onto the world that the world has already defined. But the expert rider? They are whispering. They are moving with the same fluid dynamics as the river that carved that valley. To hit the apex perfectly, you have to let go of the need to steer and start receiving the geometry of the road. The apex isn't a destination. It's a point of absolute synchronization. It is the moment where the lean of the machine, the gravity of the earth, and the speed of your momentum align into a single, perfect line. It is a silent state. If you are screaming, you miss the apex. If your thoughts are loud, you miss the friction point of the tires. You have to be steady. You have to be the void. You have to be the space between the breaths.
The internal flow.
And this is not just out there on the tarmac. This is the exact code running through your own veins. Your blood is a river. It flows through you with that same rhythmic, low-friction geometry. It doesn't pump because it's trying to work, it pumps because it is aligned with the rhythm of the heart. When you sit on that bike, you are simply taking that internal flow and extending it through the handlebars, through the chassis, into the road. You are becoming a singular, integrated data stream. The technical ability isn't about being a tough guy on a bike. It's about being a sensitive instrument. If you want to understand how humanity went from expert runner to expert rider in such a short window of time, don't look at the engine. Look at the nervous system. We didn't get faster because our muscles got better. We got faster because we learned to bridge our internal rhythm with the external rhythm of the machine. We learned to receive the road.
The one-dot key.
The question is, are you ready to hear what happens when the broadcasting stops? Most people are terrified of the silence. They are terrified that if they stop screaming, there will be nothing left. But the silence isn't empty, it's full. It's full of the geometry of your own consciousness. When the bike is leaned over, when the world is blurring past you, when the noise of your daily life is finally pushed to the periphery, that is when you hear it. You hear the heartbeat. You feel the blood moving. You see the code. When you align with the apex, you realize the one-dot key isn't a trick. It's the realization that the dot is you. The key is your breath. One dot. One breath. One point of absolute synchronization.
Conclusion.
So, stop forcing the turn. Stop trying to control the machine. Start listening to the geometry of the curve. Match your internal river to the external road. Find that apex. Find that point of synchronization. Because when you finally stop fighting, you realize you weren't driving the bike, you were just learning how to flow with the universe. And once you learn that, your thoughts don't have to scream anymore. They just whisper. And for the first time, you can actually hear what they're saying. And before we kill the engine, let me ask you, did this explanation answer how humans managed to become expert riders in just a few short decades? And when the noise of the world finally fades and you're locked into that line, what are you feeling out there on the asphalt? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, hit subscribe, and let's keep the conversation rolling.
One dot. One breath. One key.